Welcome to This Explainer. You know, when we hear stories of ancient miracles, like the parting of the Red Sea to give the Israelites an escape route, or turning water into wine, it is so easy to just write them off as myths, right? But what happens when an event that completely, utterly defies the laws of physics is actually caught on camera in our modern era? Today, we are exploring a viral video where nature seemingly hit the pause button, and we're going to see how this one single anomaly sparked a really profound philosophical awakening. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right in with a scenario that absolutely breaks logic. Honestly, ask yourself, can a destructive, unthinking force of nature actually hit the brakes for a human being? Actually scratch that. Not just slow down, not just divert its path, but completely stop its momentum just long enough to ensure someone's survival?
Well, the answer to that comes down to this exact number. 16. 16 seconds. That is exactly how long an impossible window of time lasted in a terrifying, real-world scenario. I mean, it's just a handful of seconds, but it was enough to completely change one driver's fate and, really, challenge our entire understanding of reality.
Section 1. The 16-second anomaly. Picture this. It's a village path just after a massive rainstorm. A deadly mudslide is rushing down the hill, gathering speed, picking up debris, and right in its crosshairs, at the very forefront of this impending disaster, is a white van. The driver is totally trapped. By all normal accounts of physics and nature, that van is literally about to be crushed.
And this is where the sequence of events gets absolutely unbelievable. At 0 seconds, disaster is imminent. But at exactly 1 second, the mudslide inexplicably completely stops. It just waits there, motionless. From seconds 2 through 15, the driver of the white van obviously seizes the moment and quickly drives away to safety. And then, no joke, right at the 16-second mark, the very moment the van is clear, the mudslide roars back to life, crashing down with the force of an avalanche. It's like nature just hit pause to let the driver out.
Section 2. Defying rationality.
So how do we even process this? If you're looking at it from a strict rationalist view, you're probably thinking, no way. Rivers of mud do not temporarily stop to ensure a person's safety and then just resume. It defies common sense. A rationalist simply cannot acknowledge this because it totally breaks the laws of nature. But our source material introduces a totally contrasting view, the Chanyuan perspective. In this philosophical framework, nothing is fundamentally impossible. There are merely things that our human minds cannot currently imagine or comprehend. If a mudslide can pause for 16 seconds, this worldview argues, well, what can't happen?
Which brings us to Section 3, the Chanyuan perspective.
The author of our source draws a few core insights from this mudslide video. The first is beautifully simple. God bless those kind-hearted. The source suggests that this escape wasn't just some crazy random luck, but actual evidence of a universal system or a higher power that actively watches over and protects individuals who possess good intentions. And this idea kind of balloons into a broader view of cosmic justice. It says, a kind person may be bullied by others, but not by heaven. An evil person may be feared by others, but not by heaven. It's a perspective that really offers a lot of comfort. The author is expressing the belief that while human beings might be cruel to each other, the ultimate forces of the universe, referred to here as heaven, operate on a higher, totally infallible moral standard. And this wraps up their philosophical sequence perfectly. It really highlights a worldview where human scheming is ultimately useless against the grand design. According to the text, a good person doesn't even need to beg for safety because they are naturally guided. On the flip side, a cunning person can try every trick in the book to avoid disaster and still meet their fate. Basically, destiny outmaneuvers human cunning every single time.
Let's pivot for Section 4, the author's awakening.
The author actually reveals that they were involved in a devastating car accident of their own that completely altered their life trajectory. Emerging from the wreckage, looking at this horrific scene, the very first thought that struck them was, God saved me. This wasn't just a close call for the author. It was a massive paradigm shift. They came to the really profound conclusion that the person they used to be actually died in that accident, and the life they have now is on borrowed time, belonging entirely to a higher power.
So how does surviving something like that change your daily life? Well, following the crash, the author adopted a really strict set of spiritual tenets. They decided to entrust their life entirely to what they call the greatest creator, letting the Tao, or the natural way of the universe, manage their path. Their sole task became walking this way, dedicating the remaining days wholeheartedly to the theory of Lifechanyuan and the construction of what they refer to as the second home. They essentially stopped living for their own ego and just started living as an instrument of this cosmic flow.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, Living a Guided Life.
I want you to take a moment and just let this quote sink in. What is destined to come will inevitably come. Trying to avoid it is futile. What is destined to leave will inevitably leave. Trying to hold on is futile. It is such a powerful call for total surrender, you know? It asks us to stop fighting the current of our lives and just accept the natural ebb and flow of our destinies.
To wrap all this up, the source provides a literal roadmap for what it considers the best way to live. It requires embracing selflessness and non-attachment. It means taking things exactly as they are, without forcing your expectations onto them. It's about letting people and situations come and go naturally, acting in line with your true intrinsic nature, and simply stepping into opportunities as they appear. According to the author, this unattached, mindful way of living isn't just peaceful, it is the essential path to a heavenly kingdom. So, we started our journey looking at a crazy video of a miraculous escape, and we've ended up with this really profound philosophy on how to live. I want to leave you with this final thought today. If a force of nature, like a mudslide, can pause for 16 impossible seconds, how do you interpret the accidents, the glitches, and the unexpected anomalies in your own daily life? Are they just random chance, or could they be the universe quietly guiding your destiny? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.